Whoa, we're back. It's season 4. Today we've got some fun stuff to talk about, everybody, so stick around and check it out. We're going to talk about the Sleepy Chicken Challenge. We're going to talk a little bit about iPhones. We're going to talk about filmmaking and 48 Hour. We're going to talk about what we've been up to since we've been off since season 3. We're going to talk about the new stuff that's coming for season 4. So stick around, check it out. Episode 1. Thanks for listening.
We're going to talk about David's mom.
Woo! Hi, Mom! Welcome to Triflix Cast. We are professional videographers and photographers talking about the latest techniques, business practices, and tech with a little bit of fun sprinkled in.
You waited like a couple months for that intro.
I did. I was actually really pumped about it, not gonna lie. So, but you're probably wondering, you know, if you haven't been listening, like, who is this guy? Well, my name is Cole, and I am the producer here at Triflix. To my right,
the director.
And your name?
Tristan.
Thank you.
Wow.
And then my buddy over here to the left.
Yeah, I'm Buddy, also named David. I do a lot of stuff around here. Efficiency, office managing, IT, friend.
That's the order.
Best friend.
That's
Best
the order.
friend. No, I can promote it.
I was waiting on it.
You witnessed it. Best friend.
And together, we run Triflix, a digital media company based out of Columbus, Indiana. And this is our podcast.
Yes.
We're pumped to be here. This is season 4. And this is a big one for us. I can feel it in my bones. If you've been listening, I'm sorry. If you haven't been, welcome to the new and improved. Hopefully we will not have to apologize after the end of this run. Are you okay over there, buddy? Does it still taste weird?
It's getting bubbly.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. So pre coming on and starting recording here, we cleaned all of our drinking utensils.
Graciously provided by Coffee House 5 in Franklin and Greenwood.
Thank you.
Thanks. There's nothing wrong with them specifically, to be clear.
Oh yeah,
These
not at all.
Great mugs and husky containers. They come in different sizes.
So that's a husky cup. That is one of the larger sizes. Yes. It is made completely out of coffee husks.
Oh,
so they are sustainable.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. But the big thing here is the fact that we cleaned them, and the soap residue was still left behind due to not insufficient rinsing.
Yeah, I need to fire that guy.
Yeah. So Tristan's drinking soapy water.
That tastes like blueberries.
I don't know how it's blue.
The blue
dawn.
soap tastes like blue.
Nobody told me that.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
I would have cussed more. Would have got more soap. Anyways, yeah, this is... Stop drinking it. This is going to be a lot, so we're just going to jump right into this stuff, and then we'll talk more about the season. One of the things we like to do is we like to start every episode with a news story. We find kind of odd, funny, stupid, weird news stories, and we talk about them every week. So I like to throw out a little title and see what the guys think it could be about. Today we're going to talk about this Sleepy Chicken Challenge. I almost said Sleepy Chicken Salad. The Sleepy Chicken Challenge.
That's a hint.
Do you think you can guess what this is? It's a challenge, right?
Is this where you put your chicken's head against the ground and then you draw a line in front of it and then it's paralyzed for like a little bit?
What?
That's a real thing.
I've never heard of this. It's not even close, but I've never heard of this.
No, it's like a real thing. Like if you take the chicken and you put its like beak towards the ground so that it has to look forward, and you draw a line from the tip of its beak away from it, it just stands there and doesn't know what to do. It's kind of like drawing a circle around ants, and they won't go past the circle.
Do we know why?
No idea. I just saw it online.
I saw it on TikTok.
It was on BuzzFeed, you know.
How to paralyze your chicken in 30 steps.
Gosh.
Interesting.
That sounds like torture.
And like it'll go back to normal.
Does it figure?
Yeah, like after a couple minutes.
Just gets bored. Like,
Eventually, it's like, wait a second. That line,
yeah, it's a really nice line. I was just admiring it.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this before. So
it's not that, but go ahead.
What is
Sleepy Chicken Challenge.
Chicken.
Is it where you like have to approach a sleeping chicken?
No.
Oh,
so this is what people are doing. It is a TikTok thing, and they're taking a chicken, a dead. A dead, featherless, ready to cook chicken. You know, imagine the little little wings and legs, you know, and a big old body. And they're
like a rotisserie chicken.
Like a rotisserie chicken, okay? So they're taking this uncooked large chicken and they're cooking it in NyQuil.
Oh, no, I did hear about this.
That's no bueno.
Was it good?
No.
Like what's wrong with it? Does it taste bad or does it just put you to sleep?
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing.
You're cooking medicine. That's not, you don't do that.
Yeah, but like what's the challenge? Like,
you eat it, right?
Yeah, so it's cold medication, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
you have to eat the whole thing before you fall asleep.
No, so when you boil medicine, it can make it much more concentrated and change the properties. So it's like definitely against. So it says even if you don't eat the chicken, inhaling the medication's vapors while cooking could cause high levels of the drugs to enter the body, and it can also hurt your lungs.
Oh my gosh.
So like the FDA is legit like do not do this.
Yeah, no, I saw this in a chat that I'm in. Somebody mentioned NyQuil chicken and that like the FDA had to come out and be like, please don't cook your chicken in NyQuil. Don't do that, please. It's bad.
But does it taste good?
Does it taste good? That's what you're worried about?
I don't know.
Like there's certain things that are like the cinnamon challenge. It didn't taste good. People just did it because it was hard to do. So it's like, what's the difficulty? Because breaking FDA law isn't like, that's not really a challenge.
What you're getting at is like, are we going to get a prohibition response? Like, are we going to get underground sleepy chickens?
Like, not quite, but I mean, it could be. Let's go from that angle. But like, what's the challenge? like, because I don't think the FDA is going to like knock down your. But like, is it like the cinnamon challenge it was a challenge because it was hard to do. But like eating a chicken that's soaked in NyQuil doesn't sound that hard. It just sounds like a crackhead recipe.
But it says challenge.
Like drinking a whole gallon of milk was a challenge because that's hard to do.
Yeah.
So what's hard about eating a chicken that's soaked in NyQuil?
Well, I think it's the fact. I mean, it's just like.
Do you fall asleep while you're eating it?
I don't know.
Well, I bet it's like whoever started it. It was probably on TikTok, right? It probably had been on TikTok.
It was probably some cooking channel. Like it was a legit recipe.
Some influencer did it and like played it up to where they're having a hard time doing it or whatever. I bet they didn't even do it, but like they just soaked it in like purple Kool-Aid.
Right, and they were like, you should do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's not a lot of information as to like exactly why they're doing it. It's a lot of, most of these are about like, not doing it and why you shouldn't. And like
make something up to tell people to not do that thing.
Well, it's like licking toilet seats whenever during COVID and like eating Tide Pods. You did it because the challenge was you could die or get really sick. It's like I don't see the problem.
Challenge was to survive.
The challenge of this is like
I think I literally think it is because like I don't know. I mean, they've definitely...
Is condensed NyQuil just a coma medicine at that point? You just knocks you out for life?
It's a concoction of a whole different like cold medicines that you just take at once.
Which, I mean, isn't that kind of like...
Can you do a pressure cooker?
Isn't that what sip and syrup is or whatever? Isn't that just cough?
Perp drink?
Yeah, and
it's
cough syrup?
Sprite and codeine.
Oh, you're talking about lean.
Syrup. Yeah. That's perp drink.
I love
so
lean.
Cool. You're like, no, lean. Yeah, I got some.
I saw the memes on lean. Those were funny.
The memes on lean.
I thought that was like Sprite, codeine, and like Kool-Aid, and then
promethazine. Yeah. I don't know. It's all the stuff that Juicy J talks about.
Conversion now.
A what?
Mug. I drink mug root beer instead now.
Really? What was your original?
Lean.
Oh my gosh. Lean,
buddy.
Lean with it, rock with it. Why don't we just lean on back into this podcast and get it back on track?
And that's your job, producer man.
I feel like if you did it in a pressure cooker, you wouldn't have to worry about the vapors. Like,
oh my gosh, stop
let's optimize.
Yeah, until you go to release the pressure and it literally blows it into your face.
Yeah, but like, take it outside. I'm just saying, like,
these kids aren't thinking about that.
I just want to know what the challenge is.
Wear a mask in 95 now.
Thank you.
This is how you do it.
I just want to know what the challenge is. It doesn't sound. I just don't get why that's the challenge.
You're going to go home and you're going to try all these different ways to do NyQuil chicken.
Maybe we all need to do it.
Next time.
We all need to make us some sleepy chicken and see how long we can podcast until we pass out.
We need some content for this week.
Yeah, we need some YouTube shorts. No, that's it'll be our Tip of the week.
Yeah, well,
NyQuil chicken.
since the old FDA is against it, you know.
Oh, there's nothing in the filmmaking world.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the only problem is you know, the IRS already hates us.
Yeah, they're your best friends with us now.
That's true.
They know everything about Triflix.
This is true.
Yeah.
Speaking of Triflix,
we just made a video on how to avoid a bad audit. You weren't a part of that one, though.
I was not a part of that one, and that one's not released yet. So
it'll come out.
Don't tell the
By
people.
the time this is out, probably.
I doubt it.
Oh, okay.
I doubt it. This will be out very soon, and we have something else coming out, which we could probably talk about that later. But we have a lot to talk about. So one of the things I think we'll get started with after the old Sleepy Chicken Challenge here is we're freaking back, and we have if you're watching. For those of you listening, you won't hear much new. The recording gear is about the same, but for the people watching this on YouTube, we have a new set, and this is the Cash Cast.
Yeah,
we're doing the old casual cast, the couch cast.
There you go. We're just gonna say names until one sticks. I like that one.
Nice.
I just keep saying it.
Yeah, we just won't say anything. We just keep staring at you, expecting you to say the right one.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
That works, man.
I'm fine with that. It worked.
It does. It puts a lot of pressure on people.
Yeah. There was one I was just like, not that one, off the list. But this Tristan and I are sitting here on a couch, and David's sitting in a nice fluffy chair.
Yep.
We got another fluffy chair over there.
Yeah, it's to the left of Tristan.
To the left of Tristan. So we could technically have
to the right, I guess. I don't know.
His left, your right. They're facing each other. That's why.
It's over here.
Yeah.
We got some LED lights and stuff. It's looking tasty in here.
Yeah, it feels a lot better being here, to be honest.
I agree. We've worked on our sound deadening, so I mean, I think that might be noticeable. We've heard very good feedback about our sound quality, so keeping that alive.
Yeah. Don't say it's worse.
Yeah, don't say it's worse, because we put a lot of time and effort and money into this place.
Yeah.
I want all the comments to say it's worse now.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, we got this far into the podcast.
Bugle boy. We have a new song as well.
Yep.
Still produced by our favorite person, King Flamingo. Our favorite elusive soundstripe artist.
I don't think it's a real person. I think it's
you
an
don't think
AI.
So?
No,
I think it's a bot.
Don't discredit a human doing their best.
Why would it be an AI?
Because they won't give us the contact info or any social medias.
Some people don't want to be known.
No, dude.
Listed any.
That's Soundstripe, though. Like, Soundstripe is a company, and you know they've got they're probably like a subsidiary to a larger company, and that's why they're like, oh, if you want that, what was it, like $5,000 to commission him to make a song?
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah. We literally were like, and they were like, oh, well, you can pay X amount, and then we were like $5,000.
Yeah. There's like a big issue though with all of those paid licensed musics where they're just stealing music from each other.
Oh yeah.
Like it was a big thing. Spotify was in on it too. Like people would steal the licensed music and go to paid platforms like Spotify and YouTube and then license them on there and make money.
Yeah, I know it's probably not on topic what we're talking about.
It's not, but that's good.
I saw that where somebody was like making their own music on YouTube, or no, it was just their YouTube videos, and they would steal them, sample them, make music from those samples, and then upload that sampled music to like Spotify and register it like made in like 2005. YouTube was like made until like 2008, and so they're like trying to like copyright claim people's videos by stealing audio from their videos and like saying they made that audio.
The whole system makes me sad.
Yeah.
I know, it's unfortunate.
Music industry stinks. That's why we're in video.
Right?
Yeah.
None of those issues exist.
No, not at all.
Yeah. We don't care anything about audio.
We don't know anything about it.
Whoa.
We're not even trying.
We're talking into the little cell phones right now. These aren't even mics.
Yeah.
Yes. Tiny little cell phones.
We found these at a Goodwill.
Zoolander cell phone.
The kind that you'd sneak into the prisons.
Yeah.
The old backdoor cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, yes, we're supporting our favorite elusive artist, I guess.
Yep.
Who knows?
Hey.
Possibly AI artist. I don't know. I highly
I'd
doubt
support
that.
That's
him
not
either way.
even an option.
I would
they're
too.
real. I believe.
The songs are great.
Yeah.
We're going to keep cycling through. Hopefully he'll make something new at some point, but I'm about it.
We might have to check some other platforms. Maybe he moved on to something better.
He could have. I also tried to look them up, and there's like another band or something called King Flamingo, and they make music as well, but it's not the same person. I can just tell.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But anyway, so we got the new song. I mean, in general, we are trying to get more concise about what we're doing. And so technically we have a new direction to a certain degree. Still going to be us three bing bongs here trying to talk through something. But we're really focused up on, when we have guests on, which we're not doing any specific, this is when we're going to have them. When they come in and we shoot them, we'll post them. But we want to help support the community and have people on so that they can promote what they're doing and learn more in general. It's not just about the ad or promotion or whatever, but it's nice to get somebody on and learn something new and see what they're doing, and everybody can help support each other. And then, as well as we're in the film industry. I mean, we're helping companies to make media. And so we have what we believe a skill set to help offer some of you listeners some tips and tricks and maybe some other ideas that come along the way. We're also trying to run a business and grow one too. So we are not in the formal sense of the word entrepreneurs.
I'm the budget man.
He is the budget man.
You're great at budgeting.
Budget man.
You taught me. I learned from the best.
Yeah, Wine App.
I'm in crippling debt.
I love wine.
Wine App is my favorite budgeting app.
Yeah, Sleepy Chicken and Wine App.
Wow.
That's a good Friday night. Well, with the new direction, we're going to start doing some segments. We have one today, but we're going to wait till a little later. But we're going to start doing some segments, and we've got some fun one planned, like random bleeps. I'm excited to do that one. We gave that a shot last season, and it went like 4 minutes long.
We need to set a timer.
Yes, so we promise we're going to dial that one in. What else? We talked about doing some two truths and a lie type of thing. We're going to see if Tristan has oddly not seen a lot of mainstream movies.
No.
Not sure what's up with that, but we're going to read some plot lines or some synopsises and see if he could guess. Oh, no, it was the title. We're going to talk about the titles and see if he could guess what the movie's about.
Okay. Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Sweet.
So yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Another fun thing that we have is sponsors.
Woo!
The most fun.
The most fun. We're actually really excited about this because
I'm tired of drinking blueberry water.
I'm tired of drinking
That's why we're
blueberry water.
excited about our sponsors.
I'm sorry that you don't have any regular water, buddy.
It's in the other room.
It is in the other room.
You know what? I'll go get it.
It's okay. You'll have
new water.
That's fine.
Get new water.
You get a water, and we'll do what we're doing here. Just ignore that. So yeah, with the sponsors, we have two organizations. Almost said companies. They're organizations that are helping us out this season. One of those is Coffee House 5. Yes, so we're drinking. We talked about this. We're drinking out of the mugs today. We're going to do some cool things with them over this season. They are a client of ours as well. We've made a lot of media for them. It's a super awesome organization. So we have an ad.
Wow,
and this is crazy. So bear with me. I'm going to read this. This is a sponsored ad segment here. We want to be as open as and transparent as possible about this sort of stuff with you guys. So this is our first ad sponsored segment here, and I'm gonna.
Can this be like a Bible study where you read the first paragraph and I read the second?
You want to?
Let's do it.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
Okay.
And then I'll ask where we are.
There you go.
Which translation?
Wait, which one? Okay, so Coffee House 5. With locations in Franklin and Greenwood, and soon a third in Bargersville, Coffee House 5 is Johnson County's premier independent coffee shop to relax, study, or meet friends around great coffee and great food Monday through Saturday.
Whether it's a handcrafted espresso or a single origin pour over, you'll enjoy the freshest, smoothest coffee possible, roasted in-house at their Franklin location using a unique airbed roasting process.
And don't forget to pair your coffee with a ham and cheddar scone, biscuits and gravy, made with their award-winning Parmesan chive biscuit. Fantastic, by the way.
It was very tasty.
Or any of their other pastries and sandwiches prepared in their Franklin kitchen using family recipes and a style they call Midwest comfort food.
Isn't that the best? As if it's not enough, though, to get your attention, Coffee House 5 is a for-benefit coffee house. All profits are invested in the building in a stronger community through their support of local mental health services, which you can read more about on their website, coffeehouse5.com. So next time you're there in Franklin or Greenwood and soon Bargersville, stop by Coffee House 5.
Whoop whoop! Woo! We did it. We did it.
We are ad readers.
Hopefully they heard it and they liked it. We do really like. We believe in these guys. We really like these guys.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Michelle and Brian are the owners. They're awesome people, and what they're doing is really cool. We all are about the being able to access help. Especially in the community with their counseling. That's a big deal. So
yeah, and they're not paying us to say that. We've gone there willingly multiple times.
Yes.
We really like the place.
Yes.
We're just really excited that they are giving us a sponsor because we believe in it.
And we'll let you know when we're shilling.
Yeah.
They have
Disclaimer.
tea.
Disclaimer.
They have really nice tea too.
They do have good tea.
Oh, they have tea.
If you're not a coffee drinker,
If you're a pagan, don't like coffee.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
which is we won't get into that.
I'm sorry. I like tea a lot more.
Okay.
Tea's great. Tea's great. If you like tea, it's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what you're into.
Whatever floats
So
your
yeah,
boat.
so between season 3 and season 4, it's been a hot minute, and we apologize first of all because we said our last episode of season 3 said goodbye, see you never, or something like that. Goodbye forever, see you next month is what it said.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not next month. That was like August. We're like at the end of September.
Yeah.
That's okay. So we've actually been doing a bunch of stuff, and that's part of why we haven't been keeping up on this.
The milk and cigarettes took a while to get.
The milk and cigarettes took a very
Dear
long time to
Lord.
get. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing you came back.
I'm happy to.
I was scared to death.
Yeah.
I
I
was
sat
so
by the door every
concerned.
night.
Yeah.
We had no idea where you took the Ronin, what you were filming, where
I
you're
was
storing it all.
in California for
Who was helping
for a
you
month.
edit?
I
Yeah.
waited. We made $0. I needed you. But yeah, no. In all seriousness, we've been doing a ton of stuff. We actually we hired another person.
What?
This is
And we made a full-time employee.
we did. Yes,
Wow.
we did. Well, he's close. Isn't it 40 hours?
I mean, be
he's
above.
he's-
I don't know.
Is
He's-
it above
he's-
30 or does that have to
he's
be above
over
40?
It's
It's
over.
something.
It's over 30 in Indiana, I think, and he's at 36.
I'm an awesome boss.
All right.
He hit 37. I saw it. I saw it in there. I make sure the
You-
man gets
you-
paid.
you
Okay.
saw it.
I make sure the man gets
So
paid.
yeah, we got a lady.
So
and
Daniel
a
is-
strapping young man.
Yeah, so Daniel has been getting some more hours, which is awesome and super exciting. We had to get workers' comp, which is crazy.
That sounds like fun for you.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, when you have an employee and you're in Indiana and you have to get workers' comp, that's a mandatory thing. So we found that out because we have an insurance guy, which is awesome. Which we also got insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything in the office is insured now.
Yes.
If it burns down, we won't be as sad.
It's true.
Still be sad, but
Just not.
yeah. Anyways, before we are bordering insurance fraud here,
Whoa.
you said it.
I didn't say anything.
Don't say the F word.
Oh, we just bleeped it, man.
Oh, we
Yeah.
blinked it. Dang it. We hired
Redacted.
we hired Kat Baylor.
Yes.
Well,
Kat Baylor?
Catherine.
Yeah.
The Cat Baylor?
Dude,
The Kat Baylor.
She came in this morning and there's I don't remember what it was she did, but we had a shoot today. And I brought something over to her. And I was going to give her like a battery or something. I was like, Catherine. She does not like it. I felt bad, but I don't know. It pops in my head every once when I want to be formal. I'm like, oh, Catherine. This is yours.
Yeah.
But no,
good boss.
So this is our first female to join the group.
Yep.
And it is welcomed.
Yeah.
It is welcomed. I'm just saying.
I'm
For all
just
you people
happy
that were
to-
saying it wasn't welcomed.
Yeah, I'm just happy to have
Yeah.
This guy.
another Bing Bong in the
Whoa.
office. It's welcome.
It is funny. It is funny.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. But she is a secondary Bing Bong.
Yeah,
But I dig it.
yeah. It's pretty wholesome.
I'm starting to get
Yeah.
used to it. So
A lot of my friends tend to be kind of bing-bongy, I've realized.
Yeah, it's a pattern. It's a pattern.
It's a relief
It's a
from my
relief.
own self, really.
You're so
why would I be
regimented.
surrounded by people like me? That would suck.
I get that. I can only do one of you as well. So,
Oh.
but also, Kat is going to help us expand our reach. And if you guys go to any events around here in Columbus, you've probably seen her already. She is our proxy now.
Yeah.
But she's bubbly and fun and super personable, and she's a great photographer. So it was the perfect fit. And she poked us for about a year.
Yeah.
Kept asking,
That's
"Hey, can I come help you guys out? Can
That's
I
our
intern?"
vetting system. So if you ever want to work here, just know that you're going to have to message us for 6 months continuously, and then we'll consider
It
you.
was almost a year.
There was, I think.
And you even told me, you're like, "Hey, we should get back to her." And I was like,
Yeah.
"What are we gonna have her do?"
Everything.
Yeah.
We're actually she's already been here for like a month, and we're already talking about like, hey, we should give her some more.
I know.
Yeah. I forget who, I think I might have mentioned this before, but somebody told me, like, if you're, you get emails from a lot of people, what you should do is, like, if they email you once, just ignore it. If it's important, they'll email you again. And so we just ignored her like 50 million
That's
times.
what I do with my alarms in the morning.
You have a whole bunch of alarms.
If it was important, I would have said 2.
I really kind of. It was honestly, it was worse than.
It was worse than
it
just
was
one.
worse than not replying. Like I was pretty much gaslighting her.
Well, I remember you like mentioning it, like, oh yeah, like we might have someone, and then like I asked like a month later, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't gotten around to it. I was like, what are you doing?
I never had a doubt we had enough work for her.
I don't know.
The thing with it is,
I did it first.
bringing in people is like, it's not just you having work for them, it's also the time to train them to do the work. Even if you have unlimited work, it's like I still have to teach you how to do all of it. And Daniel's like, he interned for like 6 months before he knew how to do some of the basic stuff, which he didn't have prior experience in. She has a degree, but still, it's like she picked it up in about a
There's
month.
pros and cons to both sides, because then if you have someone who's done stuff similar, you have to untrain them how to do what they were doing before.
Yeah, stupid Canon.
So
And it's true though. I mean, like we had the conversation today, right? She was like, "I'm finally feeling comfortable with the Nikon in hand."
That's awesome.
Because like the lens, I mean, all the dials, they spin in the opposite direction. You know, the lens goes on in the opposite direction. Like it's just the little things of getting used to.
Literally unlearn everything and do the opposite.
To a certain degree, right? I mean,
Kind of.
and two, I mean, I remember my jump from, a CMOS to a full frame.
Yeah.
And that was, that's a learning curve.
How so?
The biggest thing,
What is it?
I was going to say,
what are
so,
those words?
so what we're talking about, and I could not tell you what CMOS stands for. Do you know?
No.
Okay. So essentially,
Smaller sensor.
yeah. So essentially what we're talking about here are two different sensor sizes. So when you buy a camera, and let's use the DSLR. Again, I don't know what that stands for.
I'm looking all these up. You
I
keep
know. I'm
going.
like, but that's just what they call these. So we're talking about like a larger camera, not a point and shoot. So not something small with a fixed lens. We're talking about a detachable lens camera here. So when you go to buy one, the one of the biggest thing that changes the price from a lot to a little is the sensor size. So one of the entry level ways to do it is to get a CMOS sensor.
It's important to know for other reasons, but it's not the single metric you go off of. And that's the same with megapixels. They're important, but they're not the thing that matters.
I mean, there's things, right? When you're revving out to 9,000, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Look at me.
Look at them go.
Look at me go.
But
So,
with those sensor sizes, cameras are usually micro four thirds, and maybe within the last couple of years, right around 2020, they started releasing the full frame. So with that, usually, like you said, you're getting more of the bucket, the more water it can capture, and it's like all that's just more light it can capture too.
I think that was one of the biggest things I noticed when switching from a smaller sensor to a full frame.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of light that you can get.
Yeah.
And that applies across the board, right? So, I mean, it's just like they were talking, like, let's use the new iPhone, for example. They jumped from 12 megapixels to 48.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, you can get a larger image, and they're doing some trickery there in the normal, in the normal camera app. But you can shoot it in a full 48 megapixel, but you get more light. the pixels are larger. You get more light. Like that helps in low light photography. And the thing with phones is normally we're shooting in subpar light. So that's why these guys focus so much on that stuff.
And with the new iPhone, they made the lenses like a little bit bigger too, right?
Yes.
That whole thing, because like you need to be able to capture a bit more light for that bigger sensor.
Size. But I literally, as someone photoshopped it the other day, I saw an iPhone that had lenses all over the back of it.
It's gross. Like, I'm glad, like, I'm happy with the 2 lenses I have, because I 0.7 or 0.6 and 0.5. Honestly, I wish my phone had a 0.5, because the 0.7 it's way better. I just wish I had the 1 and then the 0.5. I don't really need the zoom lens and all that stuff, but it's like just 2 compact little ones. And even on the back of my phone, like, I like how small it is. I like the profile of the bump on the back versus like some phones, it's like the whole top quarter of the phone is just raised.
Well, and that's why, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like when I get my phone out to take a picture, I like put my index and middle finger up out of the way, because I'm worried that it's going to get in the way of the camera. Yeah. Because they're just, the bump is huge.
Yeah. Is it the case with the iPhones, is the low light performance better with the wide angle, similar to like how it generally would be with other cameras? Because like your barrel of your lens is what helps like bring light in. So the shorter the barrel, more light can go in without bouncing around. Does it matter?
So essentially for the main camera, right? So all these phones have a main sensor and then secondary sensors, right? They're not all made equally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the main sensor is the best, and that's technically a wide. So like the main
1X.
Is and I don't remember the millimeter equivalents of all the lenses. But I think the only one I can remember is maybe the telephoto, which I think it's like equivalent to like a 70.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But
that's weird, because I usually shoot portraits with a 70, so it's weird that you would use the standard lens for portraits.
Well, hold on a second. So like in an iPhone with portraits, it defaults to the telephoto.
That makes sense.
But they just they did back off. Like now it defaults to that, but you can back it to the regular angle.
Yeah.
Because the problem is when you want to do it, you got to stand way back, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the main sensor is the one that captures the most light. As opposed to the wide, but you essentially have a telephoto, what they call the main sensor, the wide, and then the ultra wide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So none of them are really kind of like a base focal length of like 35 or 50.
Yeah. And the reason I was saying I personally like the way the 70 looks for portraits is because like with a GoPro's, like what everybody's familiar with is a wide angle lens. Everything looks fish-eyed, like it's bubbly. And you wouldn't want to take a portrait with that, because everybody, like their nose is small and then the nose is large and the side of their face like distorts to be really weird. But with the 70, whatever's near and whatever's far starts to look close together. So the face looks a little more flat. The jawline usually looks more chiseled as opposed to like bubbly or like really sharp. I don't know. It's more pleasing. And there's like always disputes whether 50, 60, 70, 90 mil looks 85. I've heard a lot of people, it's like, I think 70 looks nice.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on... So we'll backtrack just a touch. We're talking focal lengths.
Yeah, 70.
Lower millimeter, and a long lens is a higher number. So like a telephoto lens that shoots really far can be, 300 millimeter, or it could be more, 700, whatever. Depends on what you're using it for.
If you're standing in like a 10 by 10 room and you're in a corner facing the room and you're using like a 14 millimeter lens, you would see the whole room for the most part. Now, if you're in that same room and you're using like 70 millimeter, you would not see very much. It would be very closed off. And if you're using like a 200, 300 millimeter, you're looking at like details on the brick on the wall across from you. Like it would just be so closed off. So, I mean, and if your camera on your phone has multiple lenses, like you can see that in real time, like just switching between the lenses, how much of the room's visible.
Yeah. Like if you go into your settings, you can... your phone is essentially fixing the concave a little bit with your ultra wide on an iPhone, because there's an auto setting to fix that, or you can let it be.
Fishy.
But I would rather it fix, just because again I think the wide on the ultra wide on the iPhone is like equivalent to like a 12 millimeter.
I did not know that.
It's a wide lens, so it starts to make things look real bubbly.
I found the phone. It was made by Light, the phone I was talking about.
Okay.
And I think MKBHD did a review on it.
That's
a real phone?
This is a real phone.
No, I was making a joke that
the phone, that's real.
The iPhone's
sensor. We'll put a link into the description.
The problem
for that,
I don't know. It's just you can't leave that out in the sun. Like if you left that out in the sun face down, your phone would cook. So like again, your sensor's a bucket, and it
wants to capture that light.
It wants to capture light. So it's like if you put that
it's like
face
a magnifying
down,
glass,
if you
right?
put that face down, it'd be like having 10 magnifying glasses on the back of your phone.
Yeah,
it's just going to cook your battery. It's going to cook your everything about the phone. It's just not a. You'd have to be very careful with something that's special.
Yeah, and I think the manufacturers are going to keep leaning into computational photography. Like I don't think it's going to be a lens war. I think it's just going to be like, again, leaning more into.
Yeah, it's the only thing we can really do, unless we invent some new magical sensor.
Yeah, because at this point in time, this is not one of those things where like it doesn't matter what size it is as long as you get the same megapixel count. Like the larger the sensor, the more data, and you cannot fit a normal size sensor in a phone. It's just that's all
they've
there
been
is to it.
using like the same sensor in like for like almost like the past like 5 or 6 years.
Well, they
right?
did the same with the laptops too.
Yeah, and so they just found one that they knew was good, and like the benefit is like you can continually build up all this data and analyze how this one specific sensor reacts in certain conditions, and you can use the computational stuff to correct that.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's taking them a long time to move to something new, and that's why it's a big deal.
Yeah. And that's why it's our recommendation to wait, not buy a 14 if you like the cameras, because they got bugs to work out.
Oh yeah.
They're having a camera shake problem that they just updated and fixed it, but the stabilization was off on the main camera and it was shaking. Yes.
Wasn't that like one of the selling points where like you could have an action mode?
Yes.
You could run with it. And
super
like
stable video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
That's funny.
That's why you let these things iron themselves out.
Yeah. And it looks like the iPhone 12 anyway, so like why?
That's why I waited 3 years to buy a new phone.
Hey man, the dynamic island.
The dynamic island. It's going to disappear. I don't think it's going to stay around.
No, it's going to be covered with fingerprints. Anytime you want to take a selfie, it's going to look like trash, which I don't take selfies, but people that buy Apple phones generally are the same type of people that are going to be using it for social media purposes.
Correct.
It's a younger demographic and that want the latest and greatest every year. I'm not saying all
I don't
of
know
them.
about that, but
I'm just
Jeez.
whether or not you
right.
actually did. It was the same as it was a branding thing. Like it was entirely based on branding.
shoot,
It
dude.
was like a status thing. Like you had Beats.
Yeah,
like you didn't
Beats were
buy
the other
Beats
thing.
because they were good. You bought Beats because everybody thought they were cool.
Yeah. That's my point though. It's like people are going to keep
crap.
Yeah.
people are going to keep buying them.
They do.
It's a younger demographic, man. They
And then
can
Apple bought them.
I know, right?
They
I know.
kind of fixed them, sort of.
I don't know.
I think they took all the good stuff and used it for their
I still like
AirPods.
Droids.
To a certain degree, we could go down this rabbit hole. I don't know if we should.
Yeah, we're not audio people.
No, and we'll talk. We talked about talking about like some more Apple stuff in the future episodes. So they've got some. This is a big year, and we're getting ready to roll into October. So they're gonna have another event coming up soon. So
Can't wait to roast them.
I know. Well, there's things that affect our industry big time. I mean, we all use Apple computers here in the office because we use Final Cut, and Apple and Adobe are best friends, so therefore their products work better. So we use a lot of this stuff. It makes a big difference for us. And anytime we can save time, we can save money.
I wouldn't want to be best friends with Microsoft. They ruined Halo.
Hey, did you hear they have multiplayer available in Halo on console, but it was like deep in the actual like code of the game. Like it was there. They just haven't released it as a feature.
And
it was fully,
this stuff?
and they were worried it would be buggy. And they're
You're
like,
talking
well,
about the split screen?
yeah, split screen co-op.
Yeah. Yep,
So, I mean, to me, the reason I would buy a console over a PC, and like the reason I still prefer console over PC despite not having one anymore, is for co-op. Like I want to play split screen with my friends, like Mario Party, or like any of the racing games, or any
Smash
like
Brothers.
the older Call of Duty games. It's like it was fun having LAN environments, and Xbox kind of canned it whenever they started doing like live. Like you had to be online to even access a game. So it'd be like Christmas, and in order to play the game, you'd have to like download something. Yeah. And it's like, I bought the game.
That's the worst, dude.
I just want to play it with my friend sitting right next to me. They're like, well, you have to be on the internet.
Yeah, and I have a brother. Like all we wanted to do was like, what were good split screen games?
Yep.
Did you guys play Army of Two ever?
No.
I saw people play it.
That was a good game.
Tell me about it.
So I'm trying to think, it might be all on like one screen essentially, right?
Oh.
But you can see both the people because you can't, it's not open world, right? A lot of games back then weren't.
No, it's a big trend recently.
Yeah, you kind of played checkpoints, right?
Yeah.
So, you kill the guys.
Yeah, it's a
Next
linear.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
So the cool part about this is it's one of those games where you might have like 10 missions. They last a good while, but you could beat it in a night, right? But the cool thing is, again, you get your split screen partner, you play, you go on, and it helps you to beat the missions a little bit easier because you got 2 people. And, of course, you can change difficulty, but you can like customize your weapons and stuff. But it's like 2 muscular dudes that wear masks and they like are in Mexico and they're like killing the cartel or something along those lines.
I think I've heard of this then, yeah.
It was it was really cool because after you beat it the first time, you unlocked all the guns and all the different paint schemes and stuff. And so like my gun loadout, like everything was gold and red. It was like I had a whole Iron Man loadout.
Ooh, you're Iron Man.
And it's like you could pick all the stuff and it never got old. Never got old. Like we'd be like, Army of 2? Heck yeah. And get on there and just play through.
That was us growing up. It was Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, so a racing game, and Battlefront. And like those are the 2 games that worked really, really well on like earlier PlayStation models for split screen. And now hear me out. I go put on my tinfoil hat. I think the reason companies don't offer it as much anymore is because of money.
Oh no!
Wait, what?
Hear me out.
They don't want money.
Hear me out.
They don't want more money.
What?
They already have enough.
What if I make a game and you pay for it and you play it? And then you beat it and you're done. It's like, well, I don't make money then for that. You have to go online. They push all their online stores and stuff. But then it's like, I want to play with my brother in the same room. With like, well, I don't make any more money if I offer my devs time to produce a split screen mode. How about you just buy the same game twice in another console?
Yeah.
And play in a different room with your brother. And it's like,
oh, for sure.
I've never really actually put the time to think about it, but I mean, that would make sense there's no money in it.
Correct.
And these people clearly didn't have a great childhood. Otherwise, they would be pushing for how awesome it was to just
They care about the bottom line, dude.
punch your sibling because they cheated.
It was the best. Seriously, when they were it was starting to go away. It was like, come on. Like we would only buy games that had split screen.
That's why I still like
Halo
Nintendo.
split screen was amazing.
For all their downsides, Nintendo's at least kept co-op and split screens.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Makes sense. Wow, we went from hiring Cat to cameras, learning cameras, and then to sensors, and then somehow landed at iPhones and video games.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Welcome to our
Working
world.
at Microsoft, that's what it was.
Everything influences something.
Adobe.
somehow.
This is true.
Microsoft.
This is true.
Yeah.
All the evil companies.
Well, I have on my list lessons learned. I think we've learned a lot of lessons. We've learned corporate greed.
Yeah.
That will never be us.
Yeah.
Nah.
It all
I don't
starts
think
with
so.
insurance.
No, we're an LLC. We're not corporate.
Not yet.
S corp.
Once you go public, I think you lose your soul.
I can see that. There's
You
just
think
a
so?
lot of
Yeah.
well, there's a lot of external factors, right?
Shareholders.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
You got
the
to keep
factor.
people happy.
Unless you sell like all the shares like directly to people that only like really care about your business.
See, the thing with it is though, like, it doesn't matter who's buying it, but if the shareholder's just looking for a quick buck, like you said, that's kind of the problem. Is like they're the people that don't believe in it. But at the end of the day, as soon as you start bending to shareholders, your product has sacrifices, and then the sales will decline, which is what makes the shareholders leave. Like the fact that you're not selling as many units because your product you've decreased the worth of it or the quality of it. And it's like, well, if
we were a video company, and
if we
went
were,
public,
yeah,
we were a video company that went public.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How would those influences change what we make?
Well, we'd have to be profitable for one.
I mean, that's the thing.
Well,
is
that's
I
a
think
given, right? Yeah. So there's a huge focus on being profitable.
right.
Yeah.
And it seems to be growth, right?
Yeah.
Constant growth.
Reoccurring things that are stagnant in terms of like, you don't want to push the envelope because it's the same thing with Hollywood right now is like, if I try something new and it flops, we lose money.
Yes.
So that's where you get into the whole Marvel
Star
constantly
Wars.
releasing Star Wars, constantly releasing things that are nostalgic that people grew up 20 years with earlier that will take their kids to it to get the cyclical income. So it's like for us, if we were producing content for, internet, it's like, okay, well, how do we how do we optimize production for the same 3 things? And then how do we optimize not just the production, but how do we optimize making money? So it's like, all right, for this episode of the podcast, we're going to have 20 sponsors and you'll get 4 minutes of content of us talking about some other product that we liked. Yeah. And it's like, wow, we optimized the heck out of it and now nobody wants to watch it.
That's where like the stuff with like corporate businesses, like they just really lose me, because I feel like there should be a intentional effort towards doing the things that are risky like that. Because like there's not a point in like having, it's all about like the passion, right? Like if you're passionate about something, you're willing to try something and like do something, even though like it may not be like the avenue for more money. You're not doing something out of passion because you want money out of it. Like you want to do it because you like it, or you just want to see what will happen.
Well, that's what a market
as
distributor is.
As soon as you lose that, that's when I think like the company kind of loses its soul, where it's like afraid to do anything.
Well, I mean, it's just like, I mean, I think about Apple, and again, I'm probably going to have a bunch of people that are going to be like, I can't believe you'd even say this, but it's like, you look at where their market cap is and like what their profits are and the things that they do, and they're still pushing for growth. All they care about is growth.
They just want number go up.
Yeah. And it's like, at some point,
you got enough money.
When is it enough? And
like,
then you
run out of people to sell to.
Well, then you offer service. So they ran out of products because of the iPhone tablet and laptop, and now
TV, app, Fitness Plus. The
App Store is still like 30 to 60% of their income. It's like
it's huge.
It's a large, substantial.
Everything that I have, and everybody has it and enjoys it, and now they don't. Now there's nothing to sell because everybody has it. It's like, you did your job. Congratulations.
and expand upon that product. You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's
Make
like
it better. Innovate.
The market disruptors, or I think I said distributors earlier. It's the disruptors.
I wondered what you meant by that. I was like, those are market distributors. I'm like, expand, sir.
Disruptors. So it's like, with like the medical industry, every once in a while some new product comes out. And it's like, it'll cure this one thing. And then they get bought and the product never goes anywhere because it's not in the shareholders' best interest to release a cure for something whenever they could treat it. And I know that's like that's a whole tenfold hat, but like
a little bit.
The logic still makes sense of like every time a new, whether it's in tech or medical or whatever, there's a new product that comes out. And if it either gets purchased by a big company or they stay independent and then they blow up, or they're ran from overseas where it's less competitive with the US. So like DJI is obviously like they have a ton of products, but they're Chinese owned. So like there's less competition for them in the US sector because the US can't void their patents, like steal from DJI, but DJI has openly stolen from some other. It's ran by like these companies are overseen by the Chinese government. So like there are patents that get traded around in some ways. And that's why a lot of US companies are like hesitant with how much IP they're willing to share with overseas companies. So it's like, it's either you're disruptor, you get bought out, or you're ran from overseas where you have less legality on how you can be told what you can do.
There's a really similar problem like in the medical field too, not medical, a scientific field where like, the whole purpose of science is like you test something and then like you see like what the results are, and then you have like 20 other people independently do that. But nobody wants to do that anymore because they want to be on the cutting edge of science.
Yes.
And they want to be the first person to discover X, Y, or Z. And they don't want to waste time testing a study somebody made instead of you, because then you wouldn't get credit. You would just be verifying them. And so people, like, the whole system's flawed where everybody's just selfishly thinking about them and how they push themselves forward.
Yeah.
It was ruled in 2020, and then there was another article in 2021 about DJI was ruled for infringing on a patent. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't too far off on that. I don't know if it was intentional or if it wasn't, but regardless,
it's a big company.
It
big
still was
be unintentional.
years of sales before that the judge made the decision, or until the decision was made. So it's still there's branding that's changed. Oh wow, DJI is awesome. They're doing this thing. This other company may get ignored. The sales go through like over the course of 3 years and all, but you don't know how much it actually affected people's perceptions of the product, of the brand, of the person, or so on. Yeah. So, yeah.
All that to say is, that's what happens when you don't have passion for your products.
Correct.
And here at Triflix,
We're leaking passion. We got so much
so
it's
passionate that once a year we put all of our passion into one film.
This is true. This is true.
And we put it
And
on the
then we get an
biggest
award.
screen in Indiana.
Every
In a museum.
year.
In a
Every
museum.
In a museum.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Triflix is
We have
historic.
shown in a museum.
Well, before we get into
Before
that,
we get there, sorry, I tried to make a great segue for
I do.
it.
You're great. You're great.
I'm Triflix's biggest fan.
But we have another sponsor.
We have another sponsor segment. Something we're also super passionate about.
Yes.
Passion for the
I was-
acting theater
I
company.
was just gonna say, did you say that before you read it?
No.
No, I mean, like, did you say passion and then you saw that it also said passion? Yeah, okay.
I had no idea what was coming up.
yeah. I'm gonna have you maybe not do that while we read this ad.
Yeah,
Sir?
we
Or
like our sponsors
Yeah.
and
Yes.
we give them our full attention.
There you go.
And-
for a snack break.
No.
Well, you're not
Or at
talking
least push your
anyway.
mic away.
Here, yeah, just
very
far
crunchy.
away. Yeah,
We apologize, sponsor.
he has nothing to do with this. We don't know him.
So again, local organization, very cool that they gave us the time of day to be able to work together. It's a Passion for Acting Theater Company, and the cool thing is we will be we'll have a little spot in the playbills. So if you guys go and check them out, you might see our little logo and some information on the back of a playbill, which is kind of cool. So we're going to go ahead and read this. Passion for Acting Theater Company has a passion for bringing excellent and entertaining live theater to audiences in Bartholomew County. Passion for Acting Theater Company was created in 2018, and they perform dinner theater productions at the terrific and eclectic Willow Leaves of Hope on the Square in Hope, Indiana. Their first production, The Miracle Worker, was a huge success and received great reviews from audience members. Since then, Passion for Acting Theater Company has performed 10 shows, ranging from comedies like The Kitchen Witches and The Odd Couple, to drama and suspense like their original murder mystery, Angel Street, to classic children's literature like The Secret Garden and Anne of the Green Gables. Their next show will be Kalamazoo, a comedy about what happens...
What is
Wow.
wrong with you,
What
Tristan?
happens older folks try to get into the online dating scene. Kalamazoo will be performed at Willow Leaves of Hope in February. That's February 2023, just a heads up. Just in time for a Valentine's date or to laugh the winter blues away. Enjoy a delicious dinner and a great night of entertainment at Willow Leaves of Hope. The phone number is 812-341-7251. You can go ahead and call that to make reservations for the Laugh Out Loud comedy.
Wow. I didn't know we were being sponsored by them, and I have a personal connection through it.
Hey,
My mom,
your mom
loves to act in these plays.
There you go. So not only are they a sponsor,
Yeah,
but
that's really cool.
and local, and we know a couple other people there. But David's mom,
Yeah.
David's mom.
And
go
you might
see-
remember her from Triflix filmed a short film, The Last Note.
Yeah, or behind the scenes
Or behind
at
the
Immersion.
yeah. So
She might have been in it.
Immersion and Permission sound way too
I
similar
know.
in my
Believe me,
head.
I said it permission multiple times.
Whoa.
I was like, that is not correct. We will not take credit for that.
Just the audio.
Not even.
But no, good job, guys. You even brought the segue back
Yeah.
around. We did another
So
48
natural.
hour, guys.
We did.
With all
we
our
did.
passion, we just oozed it out
Okay.
into one big movie.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know what the 48 hour is, we every year do a film festival film challenge called the 48 hour film project.
Yep.
I believe one of the kind of creators, maybe / runners, is Indie Film Festival. There's a couple of guys that help out and do judging and stuff from there. We've worked really close with them for the last 3 or 4 years as Triflix to make films.
Yeah.
We did our first film, which was Vitalian. You can skip that one.
Don't even.
Vitalion.
We learned a lot from that film, okay?
Yes.
We put it together very late. Anyways, we try to remember that doesn't exist. And then our second film that we did all together was Nuts About You.
Yep.
Within that year span of time, we went on to win multiple awards.
3.
We were runner-up that year. to winning the whole competition, and we got Audience Choice Award.
Yep.
And then we also got Best Cinematography
Yeah.
for a real cool drone shot.
Real cool. That was such a botched drone shot too, because the footage was corrupted.
I know.
It wouldn't even play in the freaking editor.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then this year, we made a film called Immersion.
Yep.
And we were very ambitious, and we actually won Best Directing.
We did.
Unfortunately, we did not place, but this year was a really good competition.
Yes.
Our film Immersion would have won the previous year.
Correct.
You think so?
This year
I think so.
was so high, like it just got dwarfed by all the talent this year.
There was a lot more people competing than last year.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. We are very happy more people are getting involved.
Yeah.
We're not complaining at all.
Let's preface this whole conversation with the fact that we're glad about this. The competition is growing. It helps to bring money, I believe, into Indie Film Fest. It's all good things. It helps our filmmaking community in Indiana in general.
It's so positive too when we were there. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, your film!" And like, just talking about how like well each other is just awesome.
It was really good.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is we put a lot of time and effort in again this year, and we tried our hardest to make the best thing we could within that 48-hour time limit.
Yep.
And after all said and done, very proud of the team and everybody else. You can go to our YouTube channel, Triflix Films, and you can watch the film, or you can also go to our channel Triflix Team and watch the behind the scenes, and the order can be up to you. But recommend watching the film first. It was really cool. We had a full feature behind the scenes for the whole weekend. You get to learn a lot and see a lot about our crew and how we all work together. It was awesome.
We did a lot that weekend. That
lot.
was a crazy amount of things we did.
I think we had the most locations out of anybody.
Like it was. I'm surprised how well organized we kept it together. Like just thinking back, I was like, how many? The only time we really dropped the ball is like we went to Pure Bar.
Pure
Bar.
It's French, so
they're not sponsoring.
We forgot.
yeah. Sorry. Don't plug that. No,
don't plug it.
They're local.
But we
cool.
like them. They're local.
They let us use a location for free. We like them.
They're very good.
They're very good. We played with all of their equipment. No.
We played with their bars.
Sorry.
What am I trying to say? We forgot some power cables and some extensions, and so that wasted about maybe 30 minutes of time.
We were still setting up.
Yeah.
I don't think it wasted
And I had to walk off to buy a fog machine.
Conveniently right next to unnamed store because
Yes.
they didn't help us that much.
The,
just a fog machine.
Yeah, it could be like, a party in a city. I don't know, something along those lines.
We are a city, and that was a party store.
Yeah.
DJI needs to release a freaking firmware, though, because out of all of the issues with this amazing camera...
But they did release a firmware, and you haven't installed it.
No, they need to fix one where it, does some sort of computational, comparison between the LiDAR and what actually is in camera for crispness, because I don't think there's anything for in-camera at all that compares
Oh, no.
how sharp something is. So
where are you coming from?
Discovered about the fog machine with our... $10,000 cinema camera that it will not track focus because LiDAR sends out rays that bounce back
of light.
Well, hold on a second.
That bounce back, but it gets diffracted in fog, so it can't tell how far away anything is.
Yeah.
And this amazing cinema camera, as soon as there's a bit of fog, it does not work at all, and you have to go to manual focus, which is fine.
I was to say, you're going to hear from people in the industry, and they'd be like, use manual focus.
Yes, but whenever they advertise it
Cinema.
for a feature,
I mean,
it's like you.
That's just how light works, man.
I know, but every other camera, all these other cameras in this price range offer autofocus. Even Blackmagic, as bad as their version is, it's like, give me anything to compare to, and they just don't.
Yeah, but that's also...
are you saying switch to the normal type of autofocus?
Just give me the option. Let me switch over to it. I shot the whole thing manual, which was fine because they were 3-second scenes.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll talk about the fog mountain shoot we did later on, where the entire shoot was manual focus, which ended up being probably about 4 hours of exteriors in fog.
Yeah. But I mean, but at the end of the day, it's still a better
often?
system than any other autofocus on the market for cinema.
I know.
I'm not saying that I agree, but I'm just
I think
saying
you're being
like
a bit ridiculous, in my opinion.
me.
No, him.
Oh, but like
Not you.
we're also early adopters.
Yeah, it's
I mean
true.
this is their first cinema camera they've ever made,
Yeah.
right? And we're lucky. We are so lucky that the LiDAR works as well as it does.
We're lucky that it's good.
No one else
Anything
uses
good about
LiDAR
it.
focus.
It's true.
Yeah.
Actually, they're releasing that
Well,
feature for other
iPad-
cameras now.
iPad does something with LiDAR, right? They have a little LiDAR sensor on there.
But they're not using it for focus.
What are they using it for?
AR.
That's it?
Aren't they using it for depth too, for photos where you can change the focus in post?
Yes, it is. They are using it
okay.
for that. They're saving depth information.
Which is
Depth
really
data.
cool because the thought of shooting raw with LiDAR means you could
Yeah.
possibly do that in
Yes.
later down the road, like where you change all the settings with
Fully
raw,
shot in
but
RAW.
also
So
whatever's in focus.
without LiDAR, how does autofocus even work? Like, what is it doing? Do we know?
We don't.
They just,
I would love to be able to tell you.
yeah.
No, I think it's just looking for whatever's sharp in the image. Like it's
like the edges?
The post processing
It's
is it is the computer in the camera is looking for what is sharp, and then you also have like the brain part of it's like, is this a face or an eyeball? Do I detect it? If so, let's lock
Yeah.
onto that.
That's true. That's
so
true.
it's a lot of post processing in the
Interesting.
camera, and that's also why like cameras like. People are like, oh, well, my camera lasts for like 4 hours and your new one doesn't last that long. It's like, well, my camera's doing a lot more work. It's the same reason cell phones, like whenever you shoot photo and
Yeah.
video on those, it's like the battery goes really quick because
How many
It's doing a
on
ton of process.
rotation do we have for our Ronin? We have 3 batteries?
yes.
Yeah.
Which they charge faster than you use them, right?
They charge
Usually.
really fast.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
But it also is one of the processing things. It depends on how much you're doing with the camera. So like if I have
Yeah.
all the stabilizers on and it's like bouncing and I'm running, and that's a lot for
Yeah.
the motors. If you're shooting 4K, 6K, 8K, 2K, like all the amount of effort the camera has to do is what drastically reduces the battery life. And if it's a hot sunny day or cold day.
So back to your LiDAR focus issue. If we had the wireless monitor
Yeah.
and we had someone off to the side
solution.
racking the focus,
I love it. It's like, hey,
all you have to do is spend more money.
the
That's what I
solution
mean.
Yeah.
is another
people and equipment.
Yeah, the
yeah.
solution
We
was
talked about
another
this.
$1,200,
Yeah.
and like an AC to focus pull would probably be like
Yeah. So that's the
maybe
solution.
$60 an hour for a like somebody that's qualified to be a focus
What's better
puller.
than LiDAR? A human doing it.
Well, probably
For sure.
In fog.
probably
In
yeah.
fog.
I mean,
yeah.
for sure, like,
I mean,
yeah.
even without fog, like there's
Well, you probably should, like, the bigger stuff, right? You probably should have someone just watching it anyway, making sure the LiDAR is doing what it's supposed to do.
well,
But
it's-
not for a
there's
wedding.
the human touch.
I mean, I'm not being.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, again. I mean, this is a decision that a business has to make, and it's like,
Yeah.
where's your point of diminishing returns, and where am I going to start eating into my profit?
Yes.
And it's like, if I have to bring an extra person and $2,000 worth of equipment so that somebody can pull
Right.
focus all day,
Right,
like,
Yeah.
that makes no sense.
If they're qualified, the human touch is worth it because
Yeah.
like,
Agreed.
because like LiDAR, even with all their firmware updates, it's still not like a smooth roll off in between focus. Like
Ooh, no.
if there's a cup in the foreground, like real close to the camera, like 2 feet away, and then there's somebody like 6 feet back, and then there's like a wall 20 feet back, the LiDAR is really fast, and that's good because you don't want to miss a shot because it's like I need to snap to the bright subject as quick as possible. So it'll switch the cup to the person to the background instantaneously because it's light. It is the time it takes for the light to go out, come back, and tell the motor where to be. And it's like it's basically instant. You couldn't snap your fingers fast enough. And the problem with that is if you're doing like a cinematic shot and it's like you want to sweep from a cup to a person to the background smoothly, the LiDAR doesn't understand that.
It doesn't have a slow.
I almost guarantee
Slow
you
mode.
it does.
No, there was a setting that they added in the firmware, but it was the first firmware where they did.
Okay.
They added that feature, and I'm pretty sure we already enabled it. We can double check it, but
Guaranteed.
maybe the newest firmware that they just came out with like maybe 2 weeks ago fixes that. It was right before we went on our trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because we were like, let's not upgrade the firmware and possibly brick our camera right before we go to Colorado, where we have no support.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
I
Let's
was
brick our
actually
main gear.
dreading like anything happening. Be like, hey, we forgot this. We need you to go take it to the FedEx overnight, same day. Blah blah blah.
There's no way I would have got up that mountain
Yeah.
in time.
No
Yeah.
way. No way. We had
way.
everything planned so tight. There's
We
no
couldn't
way.
even get on the plane in time.
That's
true. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we need to talk about that. Not today, but
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Another time.
yeah, you guys,
Another time.
you'll find out about that story.
Who is your favorite person to work with on 48 Hour?
My favorite person?
That's not an internal member.
Not an internal member.
Because we pay them. We expect them to be nice to us.
I mean, I know this is like this is a common occurrence, but like I really do enjoy working with Spencer.
Spencer.
Now, obviously, I love working with everyone. I also love working with Derek, David's brother. And Abby is also fantastic. I mean, everyone's awesome to work with, but it's like I just enjoy Spencer so much. Like he's just great on set.
Yeah.
So Spencer, if you want to work here, start sending us emails maybe in a year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What about
We
you,
just talked
David?
about how we were done hired.
My favorite person to work with?
There's
That's
only
not
one
internal,
right. There's
so-
only one right answer
Oh,
for
yeah,
you.
we all said that was Spencer.
You said Spencer
What?
over our lead actor.
Over our lead actor.
One of our
Derek
lead.
already knows he loves him.
Oh, no, I love Andrew.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was for sure you'd say like
Oh, that's true.
your
Yeah.
best bud.
Yeah.
But he knows, right?
Yeah, he knows.
He
Yeah, he
knows.
already
Yeah.
knows. I don't know.
That one's going to change that.
I
Yeah.
get that.
He's great in camera.
This is true.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
What about you,
I
buddy?
thought the meme
I
was
don't
like, we're
know.
all just going to say Spencer.
No,
Me
I
too.
was just like genuine. Like I
started
I
it,
know.
but-
Like
Yeah.
the thing is with those, it's a lot of volunteers. Like we're putting in a lot of time and money on our end just to make it work, and a lot of people come out,
Yeah.
whether that's acting or AC or AD or whatever, like just to help out.
I mean,
just
I
because
loved
everybody
everyone.
wants to make a
I think
part of it.
everyone was great. We
Yeah.
could have
I-
done it without anybody.
Everybody comes on set because we all love working together and we have a passion for filmmaking. Like it's such a good team. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Everyone's motivated to be there because they want to see everyone succeed and because it's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
That's it.
everything to contribute. Spencer had like back with him, but he had like really good suggestions for like in the middle of us doing a scene, like, hey, what if you did this or that? And that was incredible. I think it was the hot tub scene.
Yeah.
He
Go
was
watch the
"Hey,"
BTS. It's in
yeah,
there.
Yeah, it's in there. We're not going to say anything else, so you have to go watch it now.
Yeah, but you already
Yeah.
know who my favorite is. So if you're listening, you know who you are. You know you're my
Well,
favorite.
we're not going to say it and then you're not going to say it. Who is it?
No, they know who
I
they know who my
what
favorite
is
is.
this?
No, just say it.
Are you kidding me?
Say it. I'm going to keep saying
I'm
it.
pretty
Me?
sure he has no idea.
the people watching,
He has no
they know.
idea.
He has no
doesn't
idea.
He doesn't know.
they know.
Tell me who it
He
is.
doesn't know.
You can't ask the
We'll
question and
bleep
not
it.
go.
We'll bleep it.
Yeah, go.
Bleep.
No, who is it?
It's
I'm going to keep asking until you tell me.
doesn't matter.
He doesn't know. All right.
Yeah, he doesn't. No
He
one's his
doesn't know.
favorite.
He doesn't want to choose favorites.
Okay, we got one more thing we're going to do, and then we're going to wrap up this episode. I think we've already gone probably longer than we should have, but that's
fine.
okay,
It's a good
guys.
welcome
We're
back.
back. Yeah. So we talked about segments. The one we're going to do today is we're going to do a quick little photo / video tip of the week.
Yeah.
And I think just a heads up, like we'll continue to expand upon these things as time goes on, but we wanted to give you guys some good content today. So
Right on.
Here's your tip: make sure they're in focus.
That's not it.
don't shoot LiDAR.
You'd be surprised the number of times I don't follow that.
Don't say that out loud.
I blame lidar.
Oh my goodness.
We still get the shot. I don't know. The man pulls it off every time. So
Every time.
how can you? You can't argue with him. So
Well, the reason
It's
is
there. It's
I
done.
am the best director.
we do like a shot like 3 or 4 times, and we check
on
We do our
purpose.
due diligence to make sure we get the right shot.
Because
Every
we're
time.
awesome. Okay, so back to the tip. So a heads up on this as well. These are going to coincide with a series that we have that is on Instagram Reels. It shows up on Facebook, and it's on YouTube Shorts, and it's also on TikTok. This is a vertical series that we have. It's Triflix Tips. Every Tuesday, we release a video that explains a certain thing. This week, it is choosing an SD card because that can be kind of difficult. So
It's weird.
it's super weird.
Yeah, it doesn't
There's
make any
no
sense.
standard.
Well, there
No,
is,
it's all
but it's
branding.
incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
But the main reason we wanted to talk about this was to be able to expand. We only have 60 seconds on these verticals, and we try to make them fun and entertaining.
Right.
And this is a good way for you guys to get a little extra context because this one was especially hard to produce. I've been doing a lot of the producing, the writing on these, and when I put this together and did the research, there was so much information. It was insanely hard to pack into 60 seconds. So when you look at an SD card, there's all these different letters and numbers and things on the front, and they all stand for something that usually has to do with speed. The speed of your SD card is going to make a big difference when you use it for different applications. Which I learned that there is an A1 and an A2 specification. Are you aware of this, David?
No.
These are specifications that are the amount of read writes per second that a card can do, and this is specifically for app use. So if you were to store data on an SD card on a phone or a tablet or a computer, and you were going to continually access that card to get data and use an application, that's what it's rated for.
Because the read write on the card is sequential, isn't it? Like that is
Correct.
like if you had one file and you try to run straight through, or if you're hitting record on a video, it runs straight through because it's just writing continuously. It's not, as you're finding out with your card right now, trying to offload all these photos.
It's like
it's how many instances of start stop it can do at the same time or in a row.
Yes, and so there's an A1 and an A2 specification, and A2 is faster, can do more back and forth.
Okay,
but it's specifically just for apps. And there's also a V specification. Who would have thought? Yes.
Okay.
And that's your the higher number. I think it's in threes.
Yeah.
No, it's tens. V10, V20, V30, something along those lines. And those usually stand for, how many megabytes. It's like, I think it's times 10 or whatever. So it's like 300 megabytes per second that it can write with video. So obviously the faster it writes, the more frames you can do, the higher frame rates you can do, the more, you could go up to 8K. Yeah. That helps with that specification. And there's also there's a class, and that's like a C with a number in it. And there's also a U with a number in it. I can't remember what that is. That's another class. It's like the UHS class or something along those lines. There's also a bus number.
Are these the standards, or are these like one company's thing?
No, so these are the standards. So like when you look at an SD card, it might not have all of these, so it might not have an A class, and it might not have a V rating, but all of these are standards across all companies, whether you're buying a Samsung SSD or a SanDisk or whatever. I know there's other companies, but
yeah. Well, there's a recorder I have to use, not ours, from time to time. And if you put in an SD card that's not of like the right class or the right speed, it just won't tell you there's an SD card inserted. Yeah. Like you put it in, it just thinks, it says no card.
Yeah. No,
and it doesn't even tell you what the issue is.
That's a good thing. I mean, it should tell you the issue, but it's a good thing that it doesn't let you try, because you would be very irritated in like an hour.
That's not my issue. The issue is it just doesn't tell me what it is.
Which it's usually here's another standard or class.
Oh boy.
Usually on the side of your device, which I don't know if there's one on the back of here, but on the side of our other P4 recorder, it says like SDXC.
Yes. This
is usually what stops you from being able to use an SD card, because there's a standard SD, which you don't see anymore really. Yeah. So let me see if I can remember. There's like an SD HC, an SDXC, and then an SDUC. And these are extended capacity, high capacity, and then ultra capacity. And these all have a amount of capacity that they go up to. And each one starts at the top range and moves on. So ultra capacity is the newest version, but most of these, I think, like a HC is backwards compatible, but as soon as you get to like an XC and above, they don't tend to be backwards compatible. So as soon as you slide in a card in an XC slot that's like high capacity, like it just doesn't work.
Right. And now, the devil's advocate, if you're buying this equipment, you should know how to use it. You should do your research, and you should figure out what it requires for it to work. But like in my case, like sometimes it doesn't even tell you what you're doing wrong, which is kind of weird. Like you'd think it'd be try to be user friendly, be like, hey, this requires blah blah blah. Or like in this case, there is a cover back here, and it says I think XC on it.
Yes, it does.
And so like in that case, like you look at it, it's like, okay, I know what type of SD card to buy. But like you're just trying to get started. Like, this is a whole bunch of information that's like hard to take in. Like,
Yeah.
why do you have to know all
parent
this?
trying to buy a kid a device right now? It's like my parents used to
That's
be
insane.
like AA, AAA, or D batteries, and now it's like, what kind of XQD card I gotta use to get my kid's darn camera working?
And they all look the same, basically.
They do.
And
They're all the same form factor.
Yeah,
well,
and
mostly.
the only thing that's different is like the little tiny text that says XC or UC.
I think the number of pins changes too on it.
So the only time the pins change is when the bus changes.
Bus.
So if you look at if you look at one of our adapters, right? Because we don't really have any full size SD cards here in the office. We have a couple, but I'm getting there. But most of our stuff is a full size SD adapter that a micro slides into.
Yes.
Because micros are the most popular size for devices, and
They are
they're
very
insanely tiny. It's the size of a fingernail.
Yeah. Corridor just did a video on like data density and like how much data you can fit into one of these.
Which is insane.
If you had a
Yeah.
square, like a 1 foot by 1 foot square of all these little, all these little tiny SD cards, how much information is that? And it's
Yeah.
like, it's
It's a
absolutely
lot.
insane.
So it's very impressive. What was I getting at with the size?
The buses.
Yeah. So the thing that I noticed in doing my research, when you look at the back of the adapter, it has a set of pins on it, and it's kind of what we're used to seeing, right?
Yep.
Well, we have these fancy SD cards that we use in our audio recorders, and there's a B1 and a B2. Everything that we use is usually a B1, which is the bus type.
Okay.
Those the Angel Bird ones are a B2, and they have an extra set of pins. And essentially, right, the bus part of it is like your highway lanes, right? So like your right speed is the car, and then the more bus space you have is how many lanes you have.
How many cars you can fit through at the same time.
Exactly. So I learned this as well. That's the only one we have in the office that is a B2. 90% of the time you're only going to have a B1, but these guys are another class above.
Fast guy, huh?
Yeah.
It goes real fast. So you need a special reader for it?
No, so it's all backwards compatible.
Oh, okay.
So in most of the readers that are out there, they work with that.
Car works on 2-lane and 1-lane highways.
Yeah.
It's like a motorcycle.
But I mean, I'm sure. I mean, again, for people who are listening, I'm sure, or watching, it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
So they're
Like, I'm not even taking all of it in.
I clicked a link literally, and it took me to SanDisk's website, which is like they're like the main. They like own all the things, right? They're like, oh, we're Seagate and Western Digital. They're all of it. They own them all. But the interesting thing about them is they had a link that you could go to that would help you find which card was right for you. It just takes you to the store now. So
just figure it out.
Just good luck.
Just do what Tristan does. Buy a bunch and return
buy the
them.
most expensive one.
Which is what I was doing.
Yeah.
And come to find out, right? It's like I'm looking, because it's like they have all these things, right? And those are all the standards. But then you get the company part. And it's like, it's the SanDisk Micro SD Extreme Pro version 3. And all that's just marketing jargon.
Yeah. Which I'm just learning a lot about your spending habits more and more today.
Well, I was like, it's the Extreme Pro and it's red and black. It's got to be the best one. And it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is funny because your dad's in sales. I figured you'd been onto all this marketing BS a lot younger in life.
No, I mean, I get it. But I also I'm a human being.
Well, they have shareholders, don't you know? Their soul left them and they just want all the red
There's
and black.
no passion in those SD cards. I can feel it.
There's not.
They're lacking
There's
passion. Are you lacking passion?
It's like, are you telling me the Extreme Pro is not the best one? Come on. It's going to be Extreme Pro Ultra Plus.
No, you just got to keep one-upping it. It's like, let's talk about like animes and stuff. It's like after you like fight God himself, it's like, what's the next boss or Marvel? It's like, all right, I've defeated the world ender. It's like, what's next? And it's like the SD card Maximum Optimus Prime Edition.
Yeah.
It's like,
they're going to start branding it. So like, you can get an SD card and put your face on it.
oh,
There you go.
That's not a bad idea.
Don't take that. It's mine.
Right.
I want to
David Baker.
Yeah, that's Triflix branded SD cards.
I want to mint that.
There you go.
Make it NFT.
Okay.
One episode. We'll
I'm calling it.
We are having to wrap it up because Cole wants to go home.
No, this has been a great episode. Good
Made
for
it.
you.
There's nothing else at the end of this rainbow.
Hey, this is the silly stuff.
That was it.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, if you go buy an SD card, you're probably going to be fine.
Tell them
But don't buy the most.
you.
Yeah, don't buy the most expensive one. That's a ripoff.
Yeah.
Buy the cheapest one.
Most likely
from a brand you've never heard.
Most likely, if you have a device that is a camera or video recorder that shoots in any high quality, it's probably not using an SD card anyways. So that's a great. That's a welcome to comment on this. Send us a message. Do we have contact? Don't we have contact?
Contact at Triflix.
Yeah, contact at triflix.com. More than welcome. Send us an email.
Yeah.
We have a chat on the website, triflix.com. You're more than welcome to use that as well. It goes straight through the Facebook. So,
yep.
Okay. Awesome, guys.
What's happening next week?
Next week, we'll expand upon some of the things we didn't get to talk about today. I think some of that was a little bit more 48-hour. The Colorado wedding that we shot.
Colorado.
Yeah, there's a good couple things to come back for next week. And we'll have a segment that should be a little bit more fun than choosing SD cards. So stick around for that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not now that you gave it up.
I don't know if we can fit.
Okay, guys. I have a thing on here that says how to support. You know how you can support us? You can
write a Google review.
Check out our sponsors.
Not going to encourage that.
Do it.
Check out Coffee House 5. They have a great coffee if you're ever in their area. We're very serious. We drink their coffee. We're going to be drinking coffee on the podcast soon.
Yep. So we're going to do some fancy brewing that we will also show you guys. So that's pretty fun. And then we're also going to have some people maybe from their organization come on and talk more about it.
That'd be awesome.
We're pumped on that.
We have the room for it. Make it everybody comfortable as they sit down and talk, and it's not as awkward to be in the room.
Heck yeah. We're also going to have some people come on from Passion for Acting Theater Company. We're going to talk more about what they do as well. We happen to have an in there. So
there's a lot of great local things to Indiana and the areas that we work in.
So go check them out and give them support, and then check us out and give us support. Go follow us on Instagram and go like our Facebook page, and maybe check out the website. We've got some cool stuff. Go watch Immersion on our YouTube.
Let us know what you thought.
Triflix Films. Go check it out. Leave a comment.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Ring the bell.
Ring that bell,
Check
baby.
us out on LinkedIn, baby.
Yep. And then you can also find this podcast. You can find this on all major podcast players. And then you can also find us on YouTube. And if you want to watch and see us be silly, check out our fancy studio. So that's it.
And we might have a BTS of this podcast coming out sometime soon.
Maybe. We'll see. You know how we are about releasing stuff.
Keep an ear out for it. Keep an eye out. Make sure to subscribe. You don't know what's going to happen. We're crazy. Spontaneous.
Yeah.
You don't know what we're going to do next. Boom. It's not even a podcast anymore. It's a cooking show. See ya.